Scott, we're getting into phishing and not the actual fishing. I know you said one of the funniest jokes I've ever heard in my life. Right? Why do they call it fishing, not catching? solid fishing joke, which I'm always up for. Part of it, and I think that's one of the most common things we see. It's probably one of the more lower level type cyber issues. But curious to see, what is the easiest way to prevent it, right? Phishing itself. And you're curious to know of what is the most common way people are falling vulnerable to that type of attack.
Well, it depends if you have the right boat.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Fish takes the boat.
Yeah. So the thing is on phishing, so let's kind of briefly say what that is. It's getting an email that comes in that looks like it's from a legit source, and somebody clicks on it, and nothing happens, and they don't report it.
What's happening when they click on that link? Is that where the action's starting to happen?
Yeah. So what happens is there is that foul point. They clicked on something, right? So it might be an attached resume. It might be attached, the craziest phishing emails that people get, right? Lately, I'm getting these emails that you have this attach a voicemail from, I don't have voicemail
on your email.
On my email,
right,
coming there, so that, but some people do have that feature, right? But then it says, I'm getting a T-Mobile and I have AT&T, or I have AT&T and I get a T-Mobile, and they clicked on it. And then nothing happens, they just close it and they don't think anything of it. What happened is when they clicked on it, right, it linked, it did a remote execution in the background of the PC and the operating system in the back end, right? Nothing happened to the computer and they're just going on. So what has happened now is they've opened a door from the outside world to get into that network. And now that outside person is monitoring the whole network to see if there's anything it can find on the network of value. And once it finds something of value or a way to imitate somebody, they're gonna act on it. So one of the ways they might act on it is that they've started reading all their emails and they see how they communicate. And there's a salesperson, right? And there's a wire transfer or something that needs to be done. So then all of a sudden they get the lingo, they got the copy of the signature, and then they send an email out
externally, and they also mimic the email as well, don't they?
They mimic the email externally to a person that, order approved, please send me wire instructions. Then the wire instructions sent, and then all of a sudden, that company actually wired the money out.
Right.
So, and then 3 days later, somebody comes in, we haven't received the payment for that bill. And they're like, yeah, they did the wire. And you reach out to that company, goes, here's proof we did the wire. Oh, that email wasn't from us. So now how do you look upon that towards your client, right? That you had something happen in your event. The most easy one, actually, believe it or not, would be, they looked and they locked all my files up. So now only internally people know it's kind of how bad we look.
Now it became, that's first party, now it's third party issues you have as a company.
Yes.
But let me ask you, as far as clicking on on an email, wow, sorry about that. So as far as clicking on an email, a lot of times that happens all the time.
Yes.
Right? Mistakenly, people, you just might click it, might think nothing ever happened. What do you consider to be the next step on clicking on if someone suspects they might have been phished on an email?
Right. Well, the thing is, like I've always told you, right now you can have the best IT, you can have the best insurances, you can have the best educated employee, right? Educated meaning like they're smart, they went to college and they know some understandings, right? But if you don't teach them on what to look for on a cyber attack, that's your liability, right? So, for example, you get an email, right? And all of a sudden the email says Mike from a company you've done business with, right? And it looks legit. But you hover your mouse over the email and it actually says, instead of, even though it looks like Mike from that company, it says Gmail
at X, Y, and Z.
X, Y, Z. And that's your first sign, right? Spellings, it used to be that it was very easy to catch it because they wouldn't spell. They finally learned how to use spell check. Okay.
You would think that would be the first thing they did,
it would have
right?
been the first thing, right? The other thing is very simple. A domain name could actually have an extra letter on the end of it and tell that doesn't look right? Or also like on the wire instructions. When you have a wire, have a 2 people or 3 people process that approves that wire.
Sure.
So there's another way to ensure that something can't get missed. And then the most important thing is let people know, look, we're humans. We make mistakes. If you feel that you clicked on something, notify your IT provider or your HR department, whatever that procedure is that you have in your company. We have our clients, as soon as they read something that they have any inclination, just send it off to us to support.
Trust your gut.
First, trust your gut, but send it to us to validate it, and we will validate it. Because believe it or not, even though you have all the right email filtering systems in place and all these different things in place to protect you, These guys are smart. They go out and create a new domain name tomorrow. It hasn't been what they call blacklisted, so it's not catched on any of the systems out there to protect you. All right, until there's been some kind of report back to those systems to blacklist it.
Right.
So that's the most important part, is having a knowledgeable company that can help you teach your people, and they also test your people. So if they do click it, they actually go into a training. That's like one of the services part of our managed IT. Is like we teach them.
We teach them, and then having ideally, hopefully, like an open door policy, right? Having that company culture where not to be afraid to make a mistake. So I can imagine some of the employees too. You don't ask, don't tell. Maybe nothing will happen. But having that communication internally is going to help you avoid those issues. I've noticed as well. It seems the issues we've had with our clients, most of these phishing cyber attacks are coming over long weekends.
Yes.
Right. You got the President's Day weekend, Labor Day weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Seems like Friday afternoon. I guess it gives the ability for the virus per se, or for a 3-day weekend no one's working, so they better do a little more work in the back end.
Yes, that's actually what happens. So on a Friday afternoon, it's Friday. Oh, you get a $25 gift card from Starbucks. All right, it's a weekend. I got Starbucks all set up. I don't have to spend my money.
My prayers are answered.
Yeah, my prayers are answered. They click on it and they didn't get the card. They didn't get the card, and they just say, "Oh, I guess whatever. I'll probably get it over on Monday or something." Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, then Monday morning they walk in and everything says ransomware on their screens, right? That's actually one of the biggest things. The other thing is that if you have the right IT in place, they actually will see on things going on in the back end abnormally over the weekend.
On the downtime, which is huge.
It's huge. So you need to have that provider that can actually be watching your back even when you're sleeping. So that's like, we have a third party that we work with, is 24/7. If they see anything out of the norm that doesn't look, it actually sandboxes it right away for us to validate before you pull it out.
That's just critical. That's one of those things where we talked before about being proactive. That's actually doing the work. Yes. I've noticed, we've had few, usually it's, and I've noticed a couple law firms who've declined to buy cyber. They showed up Monday morning, and I guess they're getting, especially when it comes to title agencies and some closings, they're getting really good about hiding these closing statements and these HUD documents for e-signatures. I've noticed that's how some of our clients have, kind of fallen into it. And I like that. They go after, I don't like it, but what happened, Friday, 4:46, you're in a hurry to get out of the office, you want to finish up your work, get those emails done. That's kind of the playbook that they're going out there. And again, you can have the best IT company in the world, the best advice, but human error is still the biggest reason for cyber issues going on right now.
Yeah. And that's, the other thing is like I said, is that like there's the educated and not educated. There's the IT companies. There's, doing this for so many years. There are really good ones that are very proactive about these things. But trying to find the right that can deliver those things for you is key. I wish back 10 years ago, right? It was so easy for us as IT. All we had to worry about is viruses and malware.
Right.
Now we have anomalies just sitting in the background collecting information with no notifications, and then boom, everything happens, and you're like, you don't see it. So now, we have EDR solutions in place, that's intrusion detection and response solutions that actually are looking for those things that are kind of like weird, like that. This doesn't make sense. This is not a user normal action. And for you, this is like boring. Like, who cares about this? But you got to care, because, like I said, it's your livelihood. And then, like the biggest factor is if you don't have these things in place or the right company in place, do you want to risk it? If you've worked, a lifetime to build a business, and reputation is a very hard thing to recover from, unless you're like, you remember the gas company, right? That was an email that caused that whole thing. But they were self-insured. They got billions. Do you have billions?
Right.
That's why you carry insurance.
It's insurance. These are one of those things where, data is becoming so valuable. The cyber, it's just there's so much out there, and if people assume, and they do have these sophisticated cyber type, hackers, right? Criminal organizations who go after people, but sometimes it just could be one person taking the Wi-Fi from you at Starbucks as well. Your data is everything. Data, I look at it does have a significant value. Protecting that and eliminating that unknown loss by the IT work up front, buying insurance, they don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
The amount of panic, and I'm sure you get it all the time, and I get it too on the insurance end. The panic of when there is an issue, it's you feel hopeless, right? It's like you're completely powerless as a company. They've taken everything away from you. You could just take steps to take that power away from other people, the unknown loss, if you just do the upfront work.
Yeah. The most thing is being, Look, you've been in business, if you don't have the business processes in place and you don't let your team know if something is gone wrong, to say something.
Right.
If you made a mistake, you're human. I'm sure the boss rather if you told them on a Friday that you clicked possibly the wrong email so they can notify the current IT or whoever's taking care of that, right, to look into it, versus walking in Monday morning and start like, oh my God, I hope nobody knows.
No, the company going under, the company. It's a difference between the company going under or losing $50, right?
Yes.
It's and that's good. I mean, the phishing thing is something that the communication, the human error, how those conversations, because it's out there and it's going to happen. It's just unfortunate. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When.
That is the most thing. It's a matter of when and what the actions are afterwards. And that's what we always state. It's not if, it's when it's going to happen. Because everybody in some time of their life has had something, like even now, Social Security cards and things you can be monitoring, it's worth you taking that initiative, and it's just all about risk. It's risk tolerance. Both our business are a very risk tolerance business, and we have to understand that and make sure we can explain it to our clients. Because if we tell the clients exactly what their risks are, then they can make better business decisions. If you don't provide that to them, I don't think they can make a decision, and then guess what? They don't make any decision,
Correct.
Which is the worst decision.
Yeah, it's the education. Get educated.
Yeah, get educated. That's the point.